The crackling fire was the only source of light in our little living room, casting dancing shadows on the walls. The wind howled outside, but inside, it was warm and cozy. My daughter Mia snuggled up to me on the couch, her small frame shivering despite the heat from the fireplace. I held her close, my fingers running through her curls as she clutched her favorite teddy bear, Mr. Snuggles, a relic from her infancy. "Mom," she whispered, her voice tiny against the wind's incessant wailing. I looked down at her. The flickering firelight reflected in her blue eyes, making them seem wider, deeper. Fear was etched in her gaze, a child's fear, pure and uncontaminated by reason. "What's wrong, honey?" I asked, my voice trembling slightly. She looked up at me, her bottom lip quivering. "Mr. Snuggles is talking to me," she whispered. I froze for a moment, my heart skipping a beat. Her active imagination often came up with fantastical tales, but something about her tone tonight was different. I brushed her fears aside, forcing a smile. "Oh, really? What's he saying, honey?" Mia hesitated, her grip on Mr. Snuggles tightening. He says there's someone watching us from the window." A shiver ran down my spine. A prickle of dread washed over me, making my skin goosebump despite the heat of the fire. I glanced at the window. Through the frosty glass, I saw the dark silhouette of our backyard, distorted by the snow and wind. And for a moment, just a fleeting moment, I thought I saw a figure standing by the window, its shape quickly dissolving into the blizzard outside. An uneasy silence fell upon us. I tried to shake off the irrational fear, telling myself it was just a trick of the light, or maybe the shadows of the tree branches swaying in the wind. "Sweetie, it's just your imagination," I reassured her, trying to convince myself more than her. "Mr. Snuggles is just a toy. He can't talk." She seemed unconvinced but didn't argue. We sat there in the flickering firelight, listening to the wind howling outside, both of us holding on to our own unsettling thoughts. After reassuring Mia, I got up and walked towards the window, my heart pounding. I needed to be sure. Peering out into the darkness, all I saw was the whirling snow against the black canvas of the night. No mysterious figure, just a relentless storm, the garden statue, and our old oak tree swaying violently in the wind. Breathing a sigh of relief, I drew the curtains. The figure was just a figment of our imagination, a creation of a scared child and a mother on edge from a chilling tale. Returning to the warmth of the fireplace, I tried to calm Mia with a gentle smile, but the tension was palpable. To distract her, I proposed a bedtime story. She nodded, her eyes still wide with unease, but she snuggled closer, her little body seeking comfort against mine. As I started narrating her favorite fairy tale, her grip on Mr. Snuggles relaxed a bit, and her breathing became more regular. As I reached the part where the princess befriends the forest animals, I heard it. A scratch. It was faint, almost lost in the storm's howling wind, but unmistakable. It sounded like it came from the window. My heart thudded in my chest. My eyes involuntarily darted to the curtain-covered window. Mia noticed my reaction, her eyes widening. The scratching grew louder, more persistent. Mia clutched Mr. Snuggles tighter, her little body trembling against mine. Swallowing hard, I got up, my body stiff with apprehension. I tiptoed towards the window, the hairs on the back of my neck standing up as the scratching intensified. With a shaking hand, I drew back the curtain and looked out. I was met with the same scene as before, our backyard swallowed by the blizzard. But this time, the garden statue was missing. In its place was a trail of footprints leading to our back door. Suddenly, the back door creaked open, a chill wind rushing in, carrying with it the sound of the storm and a terrifying realization. We were not alone. The monster from Mia's innocent fear, the silhouette I saw, was real, and it was inside our house. The icy gust of wind extinguished the fire in the hearth, plunging us into darkness. Panic rose in my throat like bile, choking me. Mia whimpered in fear, and I could hear the shuffling of feet in the darkness. "Mommy." Mia's voice quivered in the pitch-black room. "Hush, baby," I whispered, my voice barely audible. Summoning every ounce of courage, I took Mia by the hand, our fingers intertwining tightly. We moved stealthily towards the kitchen, guided by the faint moonlight seeping through the curtains. The intruder's footsteps echoed through the silent house, each step making my heart pound louder. They were getting closer. As we neared the kitchen, I groped around for a weapon, anything that could provide some semblance of protection. My hand closed around the cold handle of a frying pan. Not much, but it was something. Finally, we reached the kitchen. I fumbled for my cell phone in my pocket, but my heart sank as I remembered it was left charging in the living room. Just as I was about to turn back, I heard the creaking of the wooden floorboards from the hallway. The intruder was close. We had one option left: the basement. It was rarely used, filled with boxes of our old belongings, but it had a small window that led to the front yard. A risky escape, but it was our only chance. As quietly as possible, we crept towards the basement door. The steps groaned under our weight as we descended into the musty darkness, Mia's little hand clutching mine tightly. I could hear the intruder moving above us, their steps heavy and deliberate. The basement was a maze of shadows and forgotten memories, the air heavy with dust and old fabric. The small window was our beacon of hope, moonlight illuminating the dust particles floating around it. Just as we reached the window, a chilling voice echoed from upstairs. "Where are you?" Adrenaline surged through me, giving me the strength to hoist Mia through the window. But as I was about to climb out myself, the basement door creaked open. I froze, fear rooting me to the spot. Suddenly, a beam of light flooded the basement. I turned, ready to face our intruder, only to find myself staring at a flashlight held by my neighbor, old Mr. Jenkins. "I saw someone lurking around your yard. Called the cops but didn't want to leave you two alone," he explained, panting heavily. Relief washed over me like a tidal wave, and I almost collapsed. The intruder had been real, but so had been our rescuer. The night had been a chilling countdown of fear, but as dawn broke and the police sirens echoed in the distance, we were safe. A horrifying tale unfolded in reality, but we had survived. We were no longer playing a game of imagination. We had lived a real-life horror and emerged unscathed.